Welcome. My name is Aaron Cox, and today I will be presenting my capstone concept, the Emerald Café. But first, quick overview of what we'll be covering today. First, we'll cover the research and problem identification phase of the project. Then we'll move into the design and ideation phase. And lastly, my proposed concept. In terms of research, we'll first be looking at identifying a problem to solve for, a specific design brief, the people the sign will need to consider, guidelines to keep the project focused, and lastly, the site I propose this concept on. One growing issue is social isolation, or more precisely, a lack of quality relationships and connection. Studies have found that lacking quality connection could be as harmful to your health as excessive smoking or drinking. It's linked with an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, anxiety, and dementia. It costs the U.S. healthcare system $6.7 billion annually in excess Medicare spending, and it's a key determinant of a community's health, safety, resilience, and economic prosperity. But what can be done about this? It's a massive problem and no one design can solve for it. However, one way sociologists suggest to help combat this issue is to promote more informal face-to-face interactions. And this takes place in spaces that are often called third places. Third places are informal gathering places outside of home and work where conversations happen, casual friendships are formed, and people build a sense of belonging in their communities. Think of places like cafes, restaurants, parks, or local markets, spaces outside of home or work where people in a community may run into each other. But for the sake of this project, I decided to narrow my focus on cafes. Historically, cafes have played a key role in fulfilling this need for community spaces. They have served as meeting spots where individuals can step away from their busy lives, relax, and connect with others. However, in more recent years, with the rise of portable devices and remote work, cafes are increasingly caught between two often conflicting roles of being a workplace for productivity or an informal social meeting place. This split can diminish the cafe's ability to do either of these, as vocal discussion is implicitly discouraged when cafes become places of study and work. And likewise, too lively spaces can be noisy and distracting for productivity. Now, some cafes have addressed this issue by banning the use of laptops or not providing Wi-Fi in their cafes. And they have found success in this to create a more social space. But for my project, I want to bridge this gap between workspaces and meeting spaces. With that in mind, I propose to design a cafe that bridges the gap between productivity and social meeting places, creating space that offers a quiet workspaces while fostering vibrant community-focused environment that encourages both face-to-face interaction and deeper community engagement. To effectively design this space, I first needed to know who this would affect. For this, I broke down 5 user categories that the space would need to account for. First is a socializer. These are people who are there to meet with others or to engage in social activities. Second is a worker. These are people like students, remote workers, or freelancers who are there to get work done. You also have the relaxer. These are people who are there to unwind from the day, whether it be reading, drawing, or simply people watching. You also have the commuter. These are people who are just there for the product, They want to get their product and leave as fast as possible. And lastly, we of course need to consider the needs of the staff. But for the sake of this project, we will be primarily focusing on the first two, the socializer and the worker. Meet Dylan. He is looking for a space to meet with friends, coworkers, or clients, where he may also run into the people in his community. He needs an environment that's conducive for conversation. Some frustrations he faces are when cafes feel like an office or a library, discouraging conversations. Here is Grace. She is a student who needs large enough work surfaces for her devices, reliable internet, and power outlets in order to do her homework. Some frustrations she runs into is that having too loud of an environment or lacking the amenities she needs to work. With an idea of the needs of my users, I needed a set of guidelines to help keep this design focused and grounded on the insights from my research. For this, I created 9 guidelines, but we will be focusing on these 4. It needs to be a cozy environment that makes the user feel at home. It needs to be an adaptable space that provides for a diversity of functional, spatial, and social roles. It needs to celebrate the community through locally sourced goods, and it needs to have designated areas to support specific users. But before proposing a cafe concept, I first needed a site to propose it on. For this, I chose a vacant Steak and Shake lot just across the street off of Emerald Parkway. I chose this site because it's in close proximity to where I live, making it easily accessible. It's also a good sized lot for a cafe. The site is also right off of a busy exit off of 270, and as you can see from this map here, there are not many cafes nearby, with the 2 closest being on the other side of 270, one of them being in the middle of a mall, and the other is a Starbucks. In addition to this site is near several apartment complexes within walking distance, with new apartments even being built just outside this building. And access to third places increases neighborhood quality of life, meaning a good cafe would increase the quality of life and the value of the apartments in this area. To quickly recap, cafes are often split between 2 conflicting roles of trying to be a workspace and a meeting space, and I propose a cafe that bridges this gap. And this cafe will be designed in the vacant Steak and Shake lot. With an idea of what to design for, I could begin the actual design process of the cafe. For this, we will be covering an architectural concept, the branding and aesthetic of the cafe, the requirements this building will need to meet, and the actual ideation of the site and the building. To help to direct the design process, a concept was made. These help to encapsulate all the key insights from research, distilling it into one image. For this, I chose a community bonfire, which is a warm and cozy, multifunctional space that welcomes in people with its light and warmth, encouraging spontaneous connections, relaxation, and community engagement. My cafe needs to embody this image. Within this concept are 4 drivers for further inspiration. The space needs to be a space of transparency, it needs to promote connection, it needs to be a sanctuary, and it needs to be multifunctional. With this in mind, the cafe needed a name. For this, I chose the Emerald Cafe, based off of Emerald Parkway. A few ideas for the logo were entertained, but the top one was chosen for its simplicity. For the aesthetics of the exterior of the cafe, warm color palettes and circular forms be included to instill the concept of a bonfire into a building, along with features like roofs merging into the walls and large windows for transparency. For the interior, I wanted to include features like hanging ceiling elements and clouds, large floor-to-ceiling skylights to make an open space, along with indoor greenery to make a more calming and relaxing place. For the materials, a warm color palette was chosen to match the concept of a bonfire, including linear wooden accent walls, a warm concrete base, and metal roofs and support beams. For the interior, the space needed lighter, airier materials to make the space feel larger, including marble flooring, linear louvers for the skylights and windows in order to help soften the incoming light, and also linear wooden accent walls to match with the exterior. After getting an understanding of the feeling and the aesthetics of this space, an architectural program was created to understand the requirements this cafe would need to meet. But just a few things to notice here are the seating areas are split into a quiet and a communal eating space. The building is around 3,000 square feet and has a maximum seating capacity of around 60. With this in mind, several ideas were explored into how to divide these spaces into a footprint that encapsulates the concept of a bonfire. Some of these are even more conceptual, exploring an emerald-shaped footprint, while others explored a more rectangular form to have more functional interior space. However, the circular concept was chosen as it was the best blend of usable interior space while fitting the concept. In the end, this circular concept was chosen, pushing the kitchen and the drive-thru to the back of the building and to the back of the site, with the two seating areas separated on the two wings of the building. However, this floor plan would be further developed as the building was developed. Getting into the exterior, several ideas based on the circular footprint were entertained, from more wild organic forms to designs of central domes and a central focus. However, integrating skylights and large windows for the seating area was an important detail in order to meet the design drivers. In the end, this simple design was chosen, with large windows and a simple gabled roof to create a more airy and dynamic interior space. Going into more detail, this design has large front windows for the two seating areas, along with multiple skylights to bring in natural daylight throughout the day. In the back, it has a covered drive-thru, and you'll notice that the drive-thru patio extending from the building follows a circular form, creating a pocket for extra windows over the kitchen to let in even more natural daylight. Here you can see that concept on the site, with a drive-thru in the back, handicap parking up front, and circular circulation throughout the site with plenty of parking space. Moving to the interior, several ideas were explored, primarily with experimenting different kitchen arrangements. I ended up opting for a 45-degree cut on the back of the kitchen instead of a circle in order to have more practical interior space. In the interior, I experimented with how to effectively integrate the skylights into the design, a central tree, and how to balance comfortable with efficient seating arrangements. And in the workspace, experimented with how to implement the large work surface near the windows, a comfy fireplace seating, and even space for a miniature library. Here you can see the chosen floor plan. It's broken into 6 main areas, given a different color that we will break down in a second. It has the 2 seating areas on the 2 wings of the building, centered around the kitchen and the sales counter. In the front, you have the main entrance leading to the front counter, where you can place and pick up your order. Behind this is the kitchen, with coffee brewing equipment up front, food prep and dishwashing station in the back, and a drive-through window in the bottom left corner. Adjacent to the space are the mechanical and storage rooms up top for food and cleaning supplies. On the bottom is the employee bathroom connected to the kitchen, and below this are the public restrooms. On the top wing of the building is the main seating area with a tree in the center. To the left of that room is a local art gallery and a couple instruments for events. Lastly, the bottom wing is the quieter seating area for studying or relaxing. It contains a small library for customers to read around the fireplace in the middle of the room. And along the windows are large work surfaces with plenty of outlets for studying or working. Now, without further ado, I am proud to present to you the Emerald Café. From above, you can see the full site with the entrances and exits on the bottom and the drive-through in the back of the site. The main entrance sits between the two seating zones, forming a cozy courtyard with landscaping and benches in the middle. At the rear of the site, a canopy shelters a drive-through lane, keeping the experience comfortable and incremental weather. Now, pointed to the site, guests are welcomed by the front facade where you can easily find a place to park. Once they park, the large windows along the front facade offer clear sight lines into the cafe, helping to connect the indoors with the outdoors. In the courtyard, there is room for outdoor benches and greenery, providing space to meet up with friends or to just simply enjoy the weather. As visitors come and go, the courtyard provides a chance for encounters where brief conversations can spark naturally among strangers or neighbors. Moving indoors, daylight pours into the cafe through the large window over the counter. Here you are greeted by staff and the smell of fresh coffee, and here you can place your order. While waiting, there's plenty to keep you occupied, from local artwork scattered along the walls to the mosaic accent wall, all bathed in natural light. From here, guests can head towards the main seating area. This space is alive with voices, where groups gather, conversations spark across tables, and laughter drifts in the air. The tree planted at the heart of the room draws the eyes upward towards the skylights above, where they filter in soft daylight across the room. Towards the back of the space, tables along the large windows offer clear views outside, while soft booths wrap around the central tree, creating quieter nooks within the open room. Along the rear wall, rows of booths sit beneath skylights, where vertical louvers help soften incoming daylight, creating bright but a calming atmosphere. On the front side of the seating area, an art gallery featuring the best work of local artists cycles every month, offering both visual interest and a celebration of the community's creativity. Moving back towards the sales counter, the vestibule to the left is full of windows, bringing in even more light, reinforcing the sense of openness between indoors and outdoors. From here, guests can choose to head into a quieter seating area, designed specifically for studying, reading, or relaxing. Large windows here continue the theme of daylight, while warm finishes create an inviting, cozy environment. Along the wall, generous counter space offers room for laptops, notebooks, and coffee, with plenty of outlets for devices when needed, while maintaining a quieter, steady volume to help you stay focused. Towards the back of this room is a small bookshelf where guests can grab a book and settle in by the fireplace. Whether you're studying or simply seeking a place to relax, this space offers a warm retreat from the pace of daily life. When it's time to leave the building, and maybe a second cup of coffee sounds tempting, there's no need for you to head back inside. Visitors can simply pull around to the drive-through lane at the back of the site, and here you can quickly order, get your coffee, and be on your way. However, the Emerald Cafe doesn't close after lunch hours. In the evening, when more guests are off work, events like book clubs, game nights, and small performances are hosted that help bring the community together. These gatherings give individuals with shared interest more chances to meet, to converse, and to deepen community ties in an informal, face-to-face setting. In summary, this space bridges the gap between productivity and social meeting places by providing spaces for both needs, so as not to create a still, library-like environment for the communal space and to not create a loud, distracting environment for the productivity space. Whether you are there to meet with a friend, work, relax, or just grab a cup of coffee, the Emerald Cafe provides the space and amenities you need. The Emerald Cafe encapsulates the design drivers by providing transparent space through abundant windows and skylights. It promotes connection to the community for celebrating local work. It provides a place of respite from work and home to unwind and relax through its soft, inviting atmosphere. And lastly, it's a multifunctional space, providing amenities to diverse user groups by providing the spaces they need. The Emerald Cafe encapsulates the idea of a community bonfire through inviting people in with its warmth, providing a place where friends can meet, neighbors can bump into each other, and colleagues can strengthen relationships, promoting more informal, face-to-face interaction and deeper community engagement. Thank you for watching.